Hello there and welcome. In this video I got you 10 tips and tricks about economy, city growth, and generally going rich in Age of Wonders 4. We're going to be focusing around things that you can do to get your income into a position where you want to have it, where you can go for whatever game plan you have in your mind. So, the first thing that I want to stress out, number one, is get yourself a second city as soon as possible to snowball accordingly. So when you're starting out, all your efforts should be focused around finding a second spot for a city. Third city can wait because cities are really an investment, but I found out during dozens of new starts that two cities can be easily grown together at the same time, and it is the strongest economy start that I have found out. So don't shy away from building an outpost as soon as you can, and don't shy away from investing your first Imperium points directly into a second city. I didn't regret it ever, and I made a strong first step in my strategies out of that. Number two, try only to build boosted things. That is, when you check out buildings in your cities, they all have boost conditions. I strongly recommend to try to do this wherever you can. There is a double advantage in that. Not only is the building cheaper in its initial cost, it also is built faster due to the boost. So boosting is really something that should be used wherever you can. Sometimes you don't have the luxury, be it because that building is so darn important, or you just don't have the provinces around you to get the boosted building going. It is okay to sometimes opt out of that, but generally speaking, it is really, really worth it. Which brings me directly to number three, a good solid rule of thumb about your province distribution. Build two of each base province in a city. That means two farms, two quarries, two foresters. This brings you to the point where you can build most things in the city boosted. Eventually, when the city has gone through its growth process, you can also just assign those provinces that you don't need anymore. Provinces can be replaced with one another. All it takes is a bit of a waiting time, no further investment needed. But with two of these, like I said, all of the growth things are going down quite pleasantly. And the step there is 111, and then you got to start with the second province on your own liking. My personal favorite is to go for two farms first, due to the fact that the tavern and the bathhouse require two farms, and the city's growth is stimulated by that as well. So you double dip into the advantages and you get your city stability under control cheaply by having these provinces quickly. There's really a lot of benefit out of that. So, number four, one thing that I want to point out and should be known and handled accordingly. Gold can be transformed into almost anything in this game. So, with gold, we buy structures, but we also hurry structures. With gold, we buy units, but we also hurry units. We buy their wages, but generally speaking, we can turbocharge everything with gold, which makes it, so to speak, to a universal income source that is never a bad thing. So while you might ask yourself, do I really need that much more mana, or do I really need that much more draft? With gold, the answer is always yes, because it is just the most flexible resources of all of them out there, and it is therefore really, really desirable. So in short, when you have rewards at hand where you don't know what to build next, if gold is an available option, it is usually at least not the worst. That's guaranteed. So, number five, wonders and magic materials. So, wonders on the map are very, very strong economy boosters. Each one of them has a very, very powerful annexation bonus, and the golden ones even let you win the game. With magic materials, it is a very, very similar thing. For one, they all have a very high income output for themselves and in themselves, but also acquiring them and taking them also brings unique global effects, going as far as adding in a trio effect when you have all three of each category. In short, these two materials boost the income of a city massively. Therefore, having a wonder or a magic material in the vicinity of your founding area is, to me personally, pretty much a must-have. I mean, the more of these we can allocate, the better. But generally speaking, I want to point out in this bullet point that these two things, magic materials and wonders, do so much for your empire. And the faster you can annex them, the better. It even goes as far as to consider to pick up wonders that give you bonuses like gold, mana, or knowledge via outposts. Because while production and draft always needs to be assigned to a city, production, draft, and food, I'm sorry, these always need to be attached to a city to have an effect. On an outpost, they don't do anything. But these other three resources attached to an outpost, ka-ching. Alright, so let's move on over to number 6. Production first. Production is the resource that makes resources, basically. Therefore, when you are building your city, try to get yourself at least the lowest rung of the ladder of these production income things first. So first you build yourself the workshop, then you build the other things, then you build the stonemason, then you build the other things of the tier. Basically, I've fared very, very well with taking tier 1 production building and then the rest. Tier 2 production building, then the rest. Tier 3 production building and then the rest. Just keep in mind that eventually guilds are exclusive. Only one guild per city. So you should choose that wisely. But beyond that, more hammers, faster buildings, more income. It's that simple. Number 7, go for research in your income options as soon as you can. Research is that one meta resource that doesn't boost your economy per se, but the faster you get it, the faster you go into evolving into higher tier tomes, and higher tier tomes bring you military but also economy options. More about that in a hot minute. Research is therefore the one resource that you are shoehorned into producing as quick as you can, while it does actually slow down your economy in the first step, but it's a long-term investment. Therefore, my usual approach is to pump up the hammers, and then the research, and then the rest. This is where I gotta say, your mileage may vary. This is a playstyle of mine, and I think, especially when we're going into PvP environments, this might be dead wrong, and depending on what kind of culture you play, this might be also not the wisest choice. But in a general sense of PvE playing, first production income increases and then research income increases, you're not really doing anything wrong with that. You're speeding up your economy and you're scaling faster with these investments at the cost of a short-term slowdown. But I found this to be always worth it. Therefore, hammers, research, then the rest. Works well for me. Let me know what you think. Number 8, spend money to earn money. So whenever you notice that you have a large stockpile of gold at hand, and this happens quite quickly in this game, you just need to clear out a quest, a wonder, or something like that, and you already have quickly access to quite a couple of hundred gold pieces. I find it pretty important that you look at what you want to have next and consider buying things via hurrying production. One of my favorites is to hurry the production of high tier units, because I am notoriously behind in draft production. This city is a wonderful example for that, but with gold you can mitigate that. My point here is, don't sit on a pile of wealth. Instead, use it to grow faster. Every turn that you're sitting on 1,000 gold or more is a turn that slows you down, basically, because you could be achieving more with that stuff that you have on your bank. Because there is no such thing as an interest rate or something like that. Your gold doesn't grow all by itself by just being around there. Therefore, spend it. Just leave a couple of hundred gold for emergencies. That's never a bad choice, unless you have something that you really want to have. But sort of a iron, sort of a last reserve of money is not bad, but yeah, you get the idea. All right, so number 9, Tome and Imperium economy boosters. For one, Some tomes have insane economy boosting components. Materium is the most direct approach. Water has also a couple of these, Astral too. But my point here is spells that increase city productions are really powerful in this game. Every one of these spells has the potential to really power charge your economy, and if you have access to these, I can strongly recommend to use them. Fanatical workforce, as you see there, might be slowing down the growth of your city, but the boost of production income lets you finish things much faster. There's a lot of things. Don't sleep on the special province improvements either. Some of them are really good for your bottom line too. On the other end, we have Imperium boosting abilities. Here, I find it pretty important to note Materium Mastery is mostly production focused. Chaos Mastery is mostly gold focused. There's a couple of gold income things and unit income things. Shadow Affinity is mostly knowledge resource heavy, with a couple of splices into mana. And Astral is mostly around mana, and Nature is mostly around food. Obviously, last but not least, Order, which is mostly around free city taxes. There's really a lot about free city and unit improvements. Order is the least economy strong of these, while I found Materium and Nature to be the most strong in pure wealth, and Shadow and Astral shine when you have a magic heavy economy. So, number 10, last point, coast provinces. It pays off to just pick one province that sits in the water and building your cities accordingly that they can pick provinces that sit in the water. The moment you pick up one coastal province, you directly unlock all the buildings that are related to naval expansion, and that gives you more different buildings that you wouldn't have access to without them. So a coastal city has automatically a higher income potential just because it can build a couple of structures more than the other cities can. The earlier you unlock these, the earlier you have access to that, with a absolutely necessary point towards the fact that if you have access to the Tome of the Stormborn, this can go even much further because of the I think Bounty of the Sea was the thing. Here you can really go crazy with coastal things. All right, so the economy topic, way more things than 10 tips to be said about it, so feel free to add in your knowledge into the comment section below. I'm always eager to hear back from you folks, always eager to learn more, and providing more knowledge in the comment section of the videos makes me always very, very happy. So leave a like, leave a subscribe, consider donating via Ko-fi or any other given means in the description box. As a self-employed content creator that I am, I can really use all the help that I can get, and I want to say thanks for all the help that I get. And last but not least, I want to say a big thanks to you for watching this video up until the very end. Appreciate you taking that time, and see you on the next one.